This content is brought to you by BEC Financial Technologies, developing and operating IT for Danish banks.
Welcome, dear Witchers. This time, we're gonna have another quest. We will unveil a JavaScript quest. And within the JavaScript quest, old Vesemir requested us to come back to the School of Wolves. Conjunctions of spheres introduce new monsters and new mutations. World is changing fast and you better adapt or become a dead victim. Witchers, it's time to come back to Kaer Morhen and reflect on how to deal with new reality before we start our next wild hunt. So, my name is Sebastian Gos and I'm engineering manager here at BEC Poland. I'm also coding that at bec.dk and I'm also co-organizer of Angular Warsaw. In the meantime, if you would like to talk with me, these are the topics I feel most comfortable with. But moving forward, we are coming back to Kaer Morhen. We want to get some insights on changes to Monsters landscape. So guys, how many of you have ever heard of something called state of JavaScript? How many of you have ever participated in a state of JavaScript? Why so few? It's not text-based form, right? But then when I look at the demographics in this poll, in this questionnaire, I can easily see that we could be better. So, what are the key takeaways from Front-End Framework's Bestiary? What are we gonna be facing? Let's take a look. What's there? When we look into what was the 2025, no surprise. No surprise. There are few which are still leading. And if you're looking into what is the rank, not much has changed as well. That means that some of the monsters are still there and they are still stable. Not much is changing in the world of React, Vue.js or Angular. They're applying some changes, but still over last year they've been very stable. What you should also take a look at are some of the young monsters, or some that are becoming more and more popular in the world of Witchers. What else should we have a look? Most likely, we should also take a look at meta frameworks. And here I hope for you Witchers, as well, no surprise, as Next.js rules the world of meta frameworks in JavaScript. Just to add, there is roughly around 20,000 Witchers every year that are answering to this questionnaire. When it comes to the rank, also there should be no surprise. Next.js is ruling the world of meta framework monsters. Then I would also say that you should take a look, when you have time of course, and consider what are the most used, but also what are the sentiments on certain tools, because they should also give you Witchers some insights. Like for instance, that the Webpack, even though that is used almost everywhere by Witchers and we fight with it, then there is almost 40% that not necessarily likes to fight with those monsters. You will find more, not just about the front-end frameworks, but also about back-end frameworks, also about testing and build tools, which slowly become more and more popular. So just to give you also some little insights, take a look what is happening with ESBuild as it's entering and becoming more and more popular, similar to Vite, who we hope will in future rule the world of build tools on the front-end side. So, dear Witchers, to sum it up, we have stable ancient giants. They're not changing so much these days. They're introducing some small mutations, but they become very stable. Then we have growing fast followers with Svelte, SolidJS, and Preact. And if you haven't tried them out, maybe that's the moment to fight with them as well, as they may be quite hard in some of the cases. And then leading meta monster, Next.js. Shouldn't be a surprise for you Witchers, right? How many of you have been fighting with Next.js so far? All right. I hope next year you're gonna join us and give your voice to the survey. What's more, you know, there is no presentation these days without AI, and I won't be worse. So AI, as you know, is changing the way how we fight with the front end every day. Therefore, be mindful that there are also some questioners and some bestiaries on AI. And this year, there is a Web Dev AI state, which I also highly recommend you to take a look at. What is quite interesting is the usage around the AI assistants, but also the agents, which might give you some insights into how other Witchers are using it. Coming back to some numbers, as you know, 80% of the numbers on presentations are not true, right? But that's quite interesting that in the years of vibe coding, as we all think we enters, there is just 8% of developers who generate more than 75% of their code through AI. This gives us a clear statement that we are not yet fully vibe coding our apps directly to production. But worth to mention is that we also need to refactor quite a lot of this code when we generate it. Some things, some statements might sound obvious, but they are not when you work with the code that goes to production. So, dear Witchers, I highly recommend you to follow the recent trends, to follow this questionnaire, as it may give you a lot of input into how should you fight with the front end in upcoming times, in upcoming wild hunts. Thank you.
Warsaw.